Hi, everyone. I'm Charla Fox. I am the director of the Quinta Museum, and we're here today talking with one of our artists who's a part of our exhibit, Uncertain Times. This is Joann Tomsche, and just so you know a little bit about her, she's a painter. She works in collage and mixed media and design, and is a designer creating combinations of acrylic, gouache, ink, paper, and fabric. So we're really excited to talk to her about her piece today. Hi, Joann.
Hello, hi Charla, hi everyone.
So glad that you're a part of this exhibit. We created this whole exhibit because these weird circumstances we're in have given so many of us a time to self-reflect and look at things differently. And so the theme that we gave the artists was something I realized. What's something that you've realized?
Okay, so something I realized certainly in the moment of the stay at home and the pandemic and all of this, but also in the bigger scope because of other events in my life, is really the importance of connection and the importance of family as a very grounding foundation in my life and also in my art.
Wonderful. What an important realization to come to. Can you tell us a little bit about the piece that you created?
Okay, so Morning Walk is part of a series of paintings that I started about a year ago now that I call Roads and Paths. And the beginning of that started with some photographs that I had taken on the farm that I grew up in Minnesota. And I've been gathering these images over really my entire life, but over the last few years, gathering photographs of paths and roads, and just because I visually like them and I find them interesting, and then just sort of thinking about what do they mean? Why am I interested in that? And so I think how that started as a means of beginning a painting series was about a year after my father died unexpectedly. I just kind of felt at this place of what next? Where do we go from here? And that was sort of this underlying question: where do we go from here? And right before the pandemic all started, a few months before that, my mother also unexpectedly died. So there was this huge layer of questioning and who am I now and what's next? And then the pandemic started a few months after that, and it all just seemed to layer in to the work I was doing. So this piece was actually taken on a trip. This piece was painted with a reference photograph taken on a trip I was fortunate to be able to do to Africa, to Namibia, just right before the pandemic. I mean, I literally came back to the States a week before everything shut down in California. So Morning Walk is a path, as you can see, that I snapped a photograph of one morning early when we were setting out on a safari drive. And the glowing sort of warmth of it was really intriguing to me. And this idea that the path leads somewhere, it's unknown, it's not frightening, but it definitely has an unknown feeling. And as I was looking at the paintings in this series, they all seem to have that common piece. It's centered on this pathway that you could hopefully as a viewer sort of step right into, and perhaps feel invited to move forward through, and then it ends somewhere unknown, high up on the horizon line of the painting, high up in the very, maybe 8th section of the painting. And so I just felt like there's this feeling of how do we move forward? Where do we go next? Yeah, and so that's my feeling about this piece. Yeah.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. And I'm so glad, it really does invite you on that journey, doesn't it? I'm so glad you decided to be a part of this exhibit. And I know you must have other things you're working on now too. What are you working on next?
Wow. Well, after I finished this piece, and a couple of others in the series, I went back to, okay, it's always sort of the what next? What feels inspiring to me now? And so I have 3 projects actually that I'm working on. One is every fall I do holiday ornaments. I do products, art products for a wholesale line that I do to stores all over the country. So ornaments are my current, right this moment, current project that I'm designing my ornaments for 2020. And I'm thinking a lot about, you know, what is 2020? What do I need? What feels like the holidays this year? And I haven't really fully decided on it, other than it feels like they're going to be somewhat traditional in color. So, you know, greens and reds and whites and blues, and probably something like believe and magic, those sorts of ideas. And then, so that's one project. Second project is some other things, designs that are about, again, concepts, faith, hope, love, gratitude. Those seem to be like my anchor points for the summertime as I was working on pieces. And so I did some collage work that will be reproduced in products, tiles, and things like that with those ideas. And then the third piece, which is very near and dear to my heart, is I've been working on portraits of my parents. And I haven't done portraits in quite some time. So, or let's say I draw all the time and I draw people all the time, but specifically portraits of my parents feels very, it's very emotional working on paintings of them, since I no longer have them in my day-to-day life. And so that's kind of an ongoing project. I work on it, I pause, I work on it some more. And it started to make me think that maybe I'd like to do some additional portraits of people that are important to me, whether they're ancestors who have passed on or whether they're members of my family. So that's sort of the new thing I'm working on. I feel like that's evolved out of all this focus on what's next? How does my life take shape now? Is it different? Being a little bit separated, certainly very separated from all the, not being able to see the people in person that I love, and then also not being able to see my parents in a different sense. So that's what I'm working on.
Right. Well, I love hearing about that creative process. It sounds like it's all about uplift and connections and traditions. And I think all of those things are really important right now.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Joann. We can't wait to share your piece with everyone. And thanks for being a part of our exhibit again. I know that you're a return artist for us, so we love that you participate. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Quinta Museum and all of you. I really appreciate the work you guys are doing.
Oh, thanks so much.